Well, good morning, and welcome to one of the great stories of the Old Testament, found in Isaiah 36 and 37. It's the story of God's deliverance of Jerusalem when it was assaulted by Sennacherib and the Assyrian army. Sennacherib was a great emperor, and yet he had trouble. Babylon, Egypt, and Jerusalem had all rebelled against him, and he was going through the area seeking to reassert his right to rule and to extract tribute from the people. When he went through the area of Israel, Jerusalem, Judea, he plundered cities and he besieged Lachish. You can see the bas-reliefs in the British Museum when that reopens. It was a devastating time. And then he sent his representative, his field commander, the Rabshakeh, to Jerusalem to offer terms. Hezekiah's own deputation, Eliakim the administrator, Shebna the secretary, and Joash the scribe went out to meet him. And the Rabshakeh warns them, don't trust in Egypt, they're just a bent reed, they're not going to help you. Don't trust in your military ability. I'll give you 2,000 horses if you're able to put men on them. And don't trust in the Lord. The Lord himself is the one who sent me here to destroy you. The threat is credible, it's sizable, and it's imminent. But history works at its own pace, and God works his story at his own pace. There are three accounts of this story that have come to us from ancient sources. Sennacherib himself left an account, and the prism that records the events of this story, you can visit it again in the British Museum. It tells us that when Lachish was besieged, Hezekiah gave tribute to Sennacherib and he withdrew. Herodotus, the Greek historian, tells us actually what happened was this vast army was besieged by a plague of mice that ate the bowstrings and the thongs of their shields, and so it meant that the whole army was incapable of fighting, and so they withdrew. But none of these accounts really explains why Sennacherib withdrew from Jerusalem, leaving Hezekiah, in his words, like a caged bird. Why didn't he finish him off? What we find in the biblical account is that Hezekiah himself took the matter to the Lord and spread it out before him, and the Lord heard him, and the prophet Isaiah came to him and strengthened him. This is what the Lord spoke concerning Sennacherib to me, says Isaiah. The virgin daughter of Zion despises you and mocks you. The daughter of Jerusalem tosses her head as you flee. It's God whom Sennacherib has assaulted and offended, and God will bring him to judgment. The Bible tells us 185,000 of his men were struck and that he returned home to Nineveh. He never returned to the region. He didn't die immediately, but later on, two of his sons plotted a coup and killed him in the temple of his own God. History is being worked out when it looks like everything is against you, when the threat is credible, sizable, and imminent. Bring matters to God. He's in control. That crisis passed, but the purposes of God endured. The crisis we're facing at the moment will pass. Others may come, but the purposes of God cannot fail. Over the years, men and women of prayer have been involved as God has brought about changes in history. Read Rees Howell's book about prayer changing the direction of the Second World War, or Derek Prince's book, Shaping History Through Prayer and Fasting. For a moment, human enterprise and ambition may seem very strong and sturdy. As Hezekiah says, it's true, O Lord, the Assyrian kings have laid waste to all these people. But now, O Lord, deliver us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone, O Lord, are God. That's what will be seen come the end.